the students are working on the Mathiness of Truthiness project. My team, which consists of a humanities teacher and a physics teacher, are working on a Truthiness project, and we're looking at their project through a math lens in our class. We're using data to tell different stories. We launched this project by looking at different ways that news sources share data and sometimes skew the story based on the ways they share that data. And our goal in this phase of the project was to look at the ways that we were analyzing our own data and make sure that we were sharing that data in a way that had integrity and mathematical precision. For example, one group's X variable was how frequently have you experienced racism at school, and their Y value was how big of a problem do you think racism is. And the trend line showed a definite positive correlation, that the more students had experienced racism, the bigger of a problem they thought it was. After we had a solid draft of our newspapers, we did a critique session in our class, and the critique session had two parts. The first was just a quick read-through of the newspaper to get a general sense of how the students' ideas were flowing through the piece and get a broad picture of what the newspaper was about. And the second and most important part for my class was a mathematical critique. What the students did in the mathematical critique is they looked at each other's scatter plots and extracted from the scatter plot the trend line. Once they had the trend line, they identified what the X value stood for and what the Y value stood for.
So we're plugging in 0 for X here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take their equation and plug in 0 for X. So that looks like 0.411 times 0 plus 4.22.
Once they had the different points for X and Y, they had to extrapolate meaning from those points based on what the variables represented. So in the case of the group that studied perception of racism, their critique partners analyzed their raw survey data to make sure that the conclusion they came to in their newspaper article matched what the math was telling them. This was really important because it doesn't matter how beautifully written your newspaper article is if it misrepresents the data that you've collected.